All right, I'm the Flat Rate Master, and today we're talking about instructors and what they have to go through, their side of it. All right, so if you didn't watch it last week, I did a video about YouTubers versus trainers. And it's a battle going on Facebook. I'm not going to get into it this video, but let's talk about some of the issues that your trainers face. All right, first and foremost, they got to write the classes. That's time. It's a lot of time. You know those fancy PowerPoint presentations they show? They got to sit there at a computer and actually do them. It's lots of time. And they should get paid for that time. I do not question that one bit. Good and great trainers are worth their weight in gold. I will happily hand down my money for a great training class, even a good one. And keep in mind, that doesn't include all the time they spent building all those case studies that are in that class. They've got hours and hours and hours of saving scope files, scan tool data, pictures, you know, all that stuff that goes into that PowerPoint. They've got time into doing just that. So there's a lot of time that those instructors put out to put on a training class. One of the biggest issues that I got on pushback was training apathy, where they go out trying to sell their training classes. You know, I'm coming into town, I've got this class coming up, and shop owners and technicians are like, my guys don't need that. Now I'm not spending money for training. And that needs to change in this industry. I will 100% support them in that. Everybody needs training. Period. End of story. I don't care how long you've been in this business, 20 plus years like me or 2. You need to go to training. As much as you can get at your skill level. You know, if you're in it for 2 years, the part store classes are awesome for you. They give you lots of fundamental information and they're great to go to. They don't cost a whole lot and lots of great information that is very useful for beginning technicians. And in some of those classes, even advanced. Now, when I say part stores, I'm specifically talking about Napa, O'Reilly's, you know, those guys. CTI, WorldPack Training, is in a whole nother category. We'll get into that in a little bit. So we definitely needed to, you know, find training that is for our skill level. Now, in that video I talked about, I took several GDI classes and I implied, and I didn't mean it, but I said I could have taught those classes. Now that was not a dig. I promise you that was not a dig. I took the GDI class at Auto Mechanica with G from TST. Great class. Do not mistake that for anything. He taught a great class, tons of great information, and for most of the other technicians in the class, it was awesome. For me, it was a good class and a good refresher, but I deal with GDI all the time, so I'm much more familiar with those systems than a lot of techs. With my experience with GDI, they were a good refresher, not groundbreaking. Don't want to sound like I'm digging on those classes because they were very good classes for anybody not as familiar with GDIs. If G's teaching that GDI class in your town and you're not familiar with GDIs, gasoline direct injection, in case anybody doesn't know, go to it. Highly recommend it. It's a great class. Another GDI class I took, and I don't remember the instructor's name, and I don't have the tablet with me, was at TST. I actually wound up talking to that instructor outside the class. You know, great trainer, dynamic, you know, lots of good information in that class as well. I wasn't digging at him, I was just hoping for more. But let's talk about some of the other issues that trainers face. Theft of intellectual property. Now, I'm sure some of you guys have, you know, back in the day of Napster, you know, stealing music. Well, unfortunately, it is a prevalent problem in the training industry where complete, not even part of it, complete training classes will be stolen and represented by somebody else. That is complete and utter BS. I know some instructors that have had that happen, and it is complete and utter BS. And to give you a little background, case studies are bought and sold. So a technician will take a case study he wrote and sell it to a training company, and they will put it in their class as a case study. So that can confuse you. You go to a class, there's this case study. You go to another class, the same case study's there. You don't know whether they stole it or they both bought it. Unfortunately, nature of the beast. But you find a great instructor, you need to support them. They come back in town, you need to go take their classes. John Thornton, whose class I took at TST, he comes to Atlanta, I'm on it. For sure, I will definitely be running to a John Thornton class. And if he comes to your town, you need to do the same. But now let's get into CTI, CarQuest Technical Institute. Now I told you I'd talk about them separate. CarQuest, years ago, developed a standalone training program. Their main goal with CTI was high-level training. Now I know a bunch of CTI instructors, and there are some awesome ones out there. Brandon Steckler, I mentioned him before. I'm going to see one of his classes in July. He came on with CTI after Automechanica. Chris Chesney, who heads CTI, is an awesome guy. He's taking care of the industry as best he can from his position at CTI. And they do out a lot of great classes. Drew, who did the ISTA class I took, awesome instructor. He comes back to Atlanta, I'm jumping on that class. I can tell you that much right now. Brandon's coming back, I jumped on that class. Definitely, CTI is something to definitely check out if you have access to it. You have to have a Advanced Auto Parts, CarQuest, or WorldPack account to go to CTI training. That's how it works. I don't know how to tell you. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the companies that you might have access to and to get you some training. I will put the websites in the description. Go to Train by Techs. They have listings on their website. CTI. Go to TST. ATG. Training group that puts out some great manuals. They have training classes all over the country. If they're coming to your town, go see them. Wally at ATG is the guy that does my area. He's an awesome instructor, has been doing it for a very long time, I can tell you that. Picked on trainers in the last video, but we do need them as an industry. We need all the information we can get. We need to support them when they come to our town. We need to know that, yes, we want training. Come on, let's go, let's do it. Support your trainers. So I hope you like this video and the struggles that unfortunately trainers do go through. If you'd like this video, give me a thumbs up and go to training. Support your trainers. Thanks for watching. I am the Flat Rate Master.